Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation, and our podcast.
Today we are covering, actually again, the Studio Ghibli film, Ponyo.
Yes, and originally we covered this movie quite a few years back, and the video was removed due to a claim by Ghibli. So, we're revisiting this wonderful film and why we love it so much, just in time for Valentine's Day.
Yes.
But
before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and notifications of future podcasts and all the pause videos.
And thank you so much for joining us today, subscribing, sharing our videos, commenting. Everything you do, we appreciate it so much. Specials. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
Yes, we love Ponyo.
Yes, very much.
We've heard mixed reviews. We've heard some people love it, and we've heard some people can't stand it. Yes. We are the love it category.
Yes.
And we watched this for the first time many years ago, as usual, because Rascal asked to see it.
Yes, it was one of the first Ghibli movies we got. I think it was this and The Secret World of Arrietty together.
And it's the first Ghibli movie we purchased, whereas the others you got free through the Disney rewards. So, thank you, Hayao Miyazaki.
Yeah.
Weren't too happy about the claim, but we've learned since, don't use a lot of Ghibli footage.
Right.
And so, hence, when you don't see much in here but lots of pictures, that's why.
Right. Right. So, again, this was one of the first Ghibli movies we had seen many years ago. And no matter how many times you watch it, it's, for at least for us, one of those movies you still enjoy every time. And you find out that the story is sort of a reimagining of the Little Mermaid story. Not the Disney one, but the original one by Hans Christian Andersen. And it's a little funny that some feel that this is one of the weaker Ghibli films, maybe because some of the usual things aren't in there from the other films, like maybe the higher stakes or possibly action or violence or something. Maybe that's why.
And it's seaside instead of having lots of grass and
right,
foliage.
it was the opposite. And I think they also took inspiration from the Little Mermaid movie itself from Disney, because we do know Disney's involved with Ghibli, but they do not edit or do anything to the films themselves. They're still allowed to make what they want. So I do think it's kind of fun that they took both the original story and the Disney movie and then gave it a Ghibli take on it, because it's still a romance movie. It's just that the main two are little kids.
It's so cute. And to those of you who watched our original podcast on this years ago, because it was one of our fastest rising ones. We got thousands of views within the first few weeks. Thank you so much. Now, for those of you not familiar with the movie Ponyo, it's a 2008 Japanese animated fantasy film written and directed by Hayao Miyazaki. It was animated by Studio Ghibli for Nippon TV Network, Dentsu, Hakuhodo DY Media Partners, Buena Vista Home Entertainment, Mitsubishi, and distributed by Toho. Except for the US, it was distributed by Disney.
Right.
We'll get to the English cast later. It had quite a few stars that were pretty big at the time in America. The budget was $34 million US, and it earned over $205 million at the box office.
Wow, so it was still a success regardless of the critical review.
And I think what made it so adorable is that, as you mentioned, they were small kids, and instead of being a mermaid, she was like a goldfish.
Yes, and they still keep intact what the backstory is, and having the disapproving father of the humans and everything. They still have the elements, if you've watched the Disney movie itself, in there. And you kind of know how the story goes, but the curiosity is how they do it in their own style, in the Ghibli way. And the way that she meets Sosuke is so simple, because you find out Sosuke's dad is in, I think, the Navy, right? The Navy.
Water,
and,
yes.
Yes, and it's one of those situations where he's not at home majority of the time because he's always set out. And the mom is really upset about it, but the kid is excited because in his mind he's doing all these really, really cool things even though he can't see him. And it sets up how the home life is already and the situation with the parents. Thankfully, no, there's no issues with them. It's just she's kind of miffed that he keeps having to leave on longer stations. And they even have this scene, which is one of my favorites, where they taught him Morse code with the light so they could always signal to each other when the ships passed by the house. And he messaged the dad, and the dad messaged back to them, and Sasuke said, "Hey, Dad said he loves you. He said lots and lots." And she got up and then started Morse coding, "Buzz off, buzz off, buzz off, buzz off, buzz off." And then he said, "I love you still." And then he said, "Hey, my son's working right all by himself." And the captain said, "Oh, your wife must be pretty mad."
Yes. It was lots of comedy in here like that, which is what helped to make it delightful.
Yes.
Because even though it was fantastical, you still had the feel of a slice of life.
Yes.
And
somehow.
only Miyazaki could do that.
Yes.
And I also, later on in the movie, her dad, I think Fujimoto, thought she was kidnapped.
Yes.
But she has a ton of sisters.
Yes,
and I thought
all
that was
little
hilarious.
fishes.
And she's the only one who wanted to look human. And she wants herself to have a little hair and a little arm
and legs. Yes.
And I thought that was so funny. And she refused to be called by her, I guess, fish name, her given name.
Yeah.
She wanted to be called Ponyo.
Yeah, that Brunhilde. It's like, well, I wouldn't want to be called that either, so you understand.
If your name's Brunhilde, but yes, we thought that was so funny when she was like, "No, I want to be called Ponyo."
Right.
And he was just,
Like,
dealing with her. And when they make these type of movies and there's a ton of kids, there's always that one. And you can't say it's not the favorite because clearly she's the favorite of his in this movie.
Yes.
She's Daddy's girl.
Yes.
Out of many of Daddy's girls.
Right. It's hilarious.
And it makes watching this a little different now because when we originally watched it, we didn't know a lot about Ghibli. We didn't know a lot about Miyazaki. And we learned recently that all the boys, I should say not boys, in his movies are him.
Yes.
And after we learned it, you could see it like, yeah, I can see it. They look like him.
Yeah.
They all look alike. Yeah, you can see it.
Definitely.
So he had a self-insert in these movies. But it wasn't to the point, well, oh gosh, it's just him. Each boy has their own personality, their own look, even though they look similar, and their own way of handling situations.
Yes.
So being able to rewatch Ponyo again makes it a different experience knowing so much more about Ghibli.
Right.
But our initial love of this and why hasn't changed.
Exactly.
The colors look like watercolors. It takes place under the water. It looks like watercolors. It's absolutely beautiful
it's
to look
actual
at.
watercolors.
And it actually looks beautiful to look at. And then when she's under the sea and you see her dad and
the mom, see the mom too.
All
the
these
whole
different.
ocean.
The colors are so gorgeous, and it's like you could just sit and look at it all the movie. But then they go on land, and then you have the quaintness and the beauty of the seaside.
Yeah, it's like a small little city in there.
Yes, and what I like is he made each equally lovely to look at.
Yeah,
not just underwater where it was vibrant and beautiful and watercolors, but on land where you still had the quaintness and the beauty of the seaside, and it comes through in the ambiance, in the looks, the atmosphere, and in the characters and how they behave.
Yes.
You can tell from the way they speak and interact and talk about the water and things that they are people who live near the seaside. Yes. And it's just wonderful how I had all this built into the movie.
Very. And one thing I definitely want to mention, because I know you're going to get to the voice cast soon, is that we mentioned briefly how Sasuke found Ponyo, and it's a very simple way, and how it gradually gets bigger and bigger throughout the movie is that she ends up separated from the rest of her sisters, and she's on dry land, and she's not like belly up or anything, but you know that she's lacking water, and he just sees her, and he just gets some water and puts her in there, and he sees that she's alive. It was a very
Pokemon effect.
Yes, it was a very simple gesture. Like, you've seen Little Mermaid, you know how that story goes. Way more dramatic, and here it was just simple. Oh, fish needs help. He puts in the water and sees it come back, and it's hilarious because then you see her wake up, and she actually tasted part of the bug because he had cut his finger by accident. Right. You're like, is this gonna go dark? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. No, she loves ham though. Yeah, she loves ham.
So he must taste like ham.
But maybe it's salty. Who knows? And from that point on, when he talks to her and she talks back, is that she just is crazy about him immediately, and you notice after he takes her, the ocean starts to act a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
It starts raining hard. Suddenly they're hit with a storm and not a tsunami, but it was a massive storm hitting the area and it was constant rain. And the entire environment was reacting to Ponyo being gone. They didn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, when the dad got her back and she didn't want to go back, she wanted to stay on there.
Mm-hmm.
That's when she started her little transformation. She was, instead of Starboy, she was Fish Girl.
But she also somehow, and you probably can remind me, she acquired magic in order to turn
somehow,
into a human.
yeah. I'm not sure if it was explained or it's just she willed it herself because there's sort of magic in the ocean in a way. And like you say, she gets arms and legs and she goes on this little journey herself with the help of the fish to get back to Sosuke. And
that's one of the most beautiful scenes.
Yeah, the people love
running and the fishies and
she's gonna cause this whole thing and all this water and this giant storm just to get back to
the
him.
cutie boy.
And it's so hilarious. She just wants to stay there. And it keeps in core with the original story, the Disney story, and it still feels like you're watching something new because it's one of the most endearing things.
So one thing I want to point out before we get to information in the cast is that this is how we discovered Ghibli makes food look delicious. Mm-hmm. And they're eating the ramen and she's eating the ham and everything looks so tasty. And we're like, oh wow, not knowing at the time when we originally saw it that this is a Ghibli staple. And seeing more movies, it was like everything looks so good, and you're watching it, and when you're watching, you want ramen.
Right.
Didn't want ham, but I wanted ramen. It's like wow, it's just amazing how he's magical when he makes these movies. So of course, this film originally released first in Japan in July of 2008, and at that time it was the 8th highest grossing anime film of all time. It received lots of critical acclaim and awards. And then the English version wasn't released until a little over a year later in 2009. Mm-hmm. And at the time, being released in over 900 theaters was a wide opening for an anime movie.
Really?
And so, interestingly, you know now how it goes. Anime is the way to go. Everyone wants it in their theater. But back when this came out, it was a great accomplishment to be released in that many theaters and to had the widest opening for an anime film at that time.
Right.
So you can get it on DVD. You can get it on digital DVD and Blu-ray, I should say. And originally it was released on VHS and DVD.
Yes, it wasn't. They're still making VHS.
Right. So it made quite a bit of money. If you compare it to box office now, you would go, it's not a lot. But at the time when it was released, it was a lot of money for an anime movie to acquire back in 2008. So in its opening weekend in the U.S. and Canada, it made almost $4 million on those screens.
Which is, like you said, it's a lot.
And it made a total of over $15 million in the U.S. and Canada combined. Again, that was a lot for 2008.
Yes.
Rotten Tomatoes actually gave it a 91%.
Which is a shock.
Who's still rotten now, but they gave it a great rating, which they should have. And the consensus was that they didn't think it was his best film, but it's visually stunning, it's sweetly poetic treat for children and fans of all ages. And I would say that sums it up, because anybody can enjoy this.
Yes.
But the way it is written and the way it unfolds, yes, you could see children really loving this a lot.
And especially you hear a lot of kids in here too.
Yeah. So let's get to the cast. We have as Ponyo, Noah Cyrus. Sosuke is voiced by Frankie Jonas. Lisa, Tina Fey. Koichi, Matt Damon. Grandmamre, Kate Blanchett. Fujimoto, her dad, voiced by Liam Neeson.
Yes.
Her sisters were all done by Akiko Yano in the English and the Japanese.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Toki, voiced by Lily Tomlin. Yoshi, voiced by Betty White. Noriko, Cloris Leachman. And Kumiko, voiced by Janessa Rose. So you had a great cast during the time this was made.
And I think that's one of the benefits of Studio Ghibli. They're one of the few studios that whenever they make a movie and they cast all stars, it's actually something you look forward to because all of them actually end up fitting the roles. They bring life to the roles, or you can tell they really love what they're doing. They're loving the movie they're working on, and you can hear it, and they actually sound passionate when they're doing the role.
So if you've seen Ponyo, and really hope you have, let us know in the comments. Do you love it, or are you of the consensus that it's not a good movie? If not, let us know why. And if you do love it, we would like to know that as well. If you haven't seen it, it used to be available on Disney, but Disney no longer has license, so now you have to go to HBO Max. And we're hoping with Netflix getting Warner Brothers and HBO Max that we'll be able to see it on all the movies on Netflix sometime within the next year.
Right.
But at this time, you'll have to go to HBO Max to rent it, or you'll have to buy it on DVD.
Right.
You can find all of them on Amazon. Give it a watch, come back, and tell us what you think.
And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates of weekly videos for anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today, subscribing, everything you do specials. As always, you are special.
Thanks so much for watching Mask Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace, and have a happy Valentine's weekend.
And reporters sitting, flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Met her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket.